get the meeting going. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Town of the Paw Council meeting for March 13th, 2017. I'll call the meeting to order. Just before we move on our agenda, I would like to say, and I'm sure I can speak on behalf of all the council, what an amazing job the Public Works team did on getting our streets open and our sidewalks plowed and turning it back into a community in less than 24 hours. I think it was just an extraordinary effort. And I certainly congratulate them all. And again, I believe I'm speaking on behalf of all of council. Item number 2, adoption of agenda. Someone will have a piece of paper.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Common. It will be resolved that the agenda be adopted as presented.
It's making
Any discussion on the agenda?
Yep.
Call the question. All in favor? Okay, item number 3, confirmation of minutes.
I got to do this all first, Jen. That's very nice of you. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Common, be it resolved the minutes of the regular council meeting and committee of the whole meeting February 27th, 2017 be hereby approved. All statutory declarations have been complied with. Checks in now.
Any questions about the minutes? Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Just a moment, I'll be right with their comments. Item number 4, citizens period. Ryan, Trent, BJ? We're moving along. Item number 5, the CEO report. Jen.
The following is an update as it relates to various departmental reports as of March 1st. Museum has had their annual fire inspection and energy-efficient lighting has been installed in all light fixtures. They've had God Menzies of Historic...
That'd be Gord. He's not God.
Oh, okay, spelling mistake.
Definitely be Gord. He's a nice guy, but he's not God.
Thank you. He's not God. Had Gord Menzies of Historic Research Branch on site to discuss interior brickwork repair at the museum building. Museum has submitted Moffat Fund application for arts funding. The public safety officer has continued patrol of school areas as it relates to traffic control and parking and has been very busy with complaints regarding dogs, garbage stands, and unsightly premises. Purchasing clerk has started full-time at the town garage. 2016 audit is being prepared. 2017 budget is near completion. Finance is in the process of creating an assessment management database. All town employees participated in Respect in the Workplace training March 1st and 2nd. Preparing for steel workers and QP negotiations, which will be taking place this month. Public Works has been busy with sanding, sewer jetting, and steaming and water break repairs. Cleanup of town yard is underway. The municipal superintendent has spent a lot of time working with historical data regarding hydro consumption for the Winton Pool, and I believe the maintenance director was helping him with that. Wellness Center hosted free Zumba class with 28 people in attendance. Recreation is now hosting private one-on-one swim lessons. Recreation director toured the Minister of Sports around town facilities and discussed many community programs. Minor sports registration will be going out in the next month. Admin has been working with development company as it relates to various planning and zoning issues and received several inquiries regarding potential residential developments, including sale of the lake lots.
Thank you. Any questions or anything? Move on to item number 6, bylaws. 6.1, tax incentive bylaw.
I'm just in, since I've used this and have something for
I can't hear a word you say.
I'm going to declare a conflict.
Okay.
So just go and come back.
Yep.
Run away.
Double.
Hurry up so I can read it.
Whatever you say, I'll
All right, 6.1.
Just gotta wait. Phone is silent. Sit down. Okay. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Forward. Resolved that bylaw number 4560, being a bylaw of the Town of the Paw to establish a tax incentive and to repeal bylaw number 4507, be read a second time as amended.
Any discussion? Councillor Rock.
I have to wonder, is this going to be our final one for more than a year or so? Because we seem to be changing, and after we had discussed it at previous meetings, I began to wonder how many different agreements we're going to have within our community on different tax incentives that we have to deal with. I think it becomes burdensome on operations to have to do that. So, like,
I'd love to say yes
I
it is,
don't know.
but
I guess the question to the mover would be, what were we correcting in the previous, or the existing one?
Councillor Rock, we have been through this 100 times. We're changing the incentive program. We've discussed this at committee of the whole level on a number of occasions. We also discussed it at first reading 2 weeks ago.
And your point is?
I'm hoping that this will be the last one. I have been through accommodation fee bylaws that we've changed them probably, I'm going to say 14 times in the 6 years I've been on council. I would love to say that this is going to be the last one.
Well,
I cannot.
then for the interest of the citizens we represent, what is the change? What is the difference from the previous one? Like, why did we need to change?
Again, we went through that. Do you have that handy exact changes that were made? Because there were a number of them. Can I see that?
I think it had to do with the top
I have
part,
it here.
the dollar amount there. I can read it out if you'd like.
The
The changes won't be
The
on
changes aren't in there.
No, I know,
That's
I know they're not
Yeah,
in
as
there.
amended.
I don't have it with me.
I'm wondering why you wouldn't have brought this question up to administration before tonight.
It will be in a previous meeting. I can go quick and grab it.
Yeah, let's see if we can
Yeah.
get these changes to him again.
Okay, I'll be right back.
If you like, Brian, you can pause this. We're going to probably be a couple of minutes getting it located.
And I have the ability to edit. Do whatever you want, man.
Who has the best snow removal story?
I made a snow
It
fort.
seems how there's a break. Big shout out to the Legion. They hosted the provincial crib tournament this
Yes.
past weekend, and there was like upwards of, I think, like 200 people in town or something like
Yeah.
that for it. And I heard quite like from at least 3 different people, some from out of town and some from local, that were like super impressed with how they handled it and how they were kind of set up for it and rolled it out. So, big nod to the Legion for.
There was a man and his wife from Red Rock, Ontario, which is east of Thunder Bay, kind of at the high-end tip of Lake Superior, which is at the far, far end of this zone that this Legion is in, saying that last year they went to the national finals at the cribbage tournament in Prince Edward Island in Charlottetown, and this is a much better event here in the Pas. Much better ran, much better organized, much more friendly people. So,
There was bus at the metro
I heard
on
that.
Saturday.
yeah.
Heard the same sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Lots of ripping.
Yeah, it was a good job.
That was the previous one, right there. Or those are the changes that are being made, sorry.
Yeah, these were the previous ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just, if I can make a comment,
Yeah.
the second reading's been amended because when we did the first reading last meeting, it was brought up that we should be calling it the tax incentive bylaw, not the development incentive bylaw.
Correct.
Which is the reason for the amendment from the first reading to the second reading.
Do you have the bylaw in front of you that you can follow along with and show you where the changes have been made?
Yeah, I've got it up.
Okay, so on the first page, item number 2, the phrase that the development incentive be provided through a tax credit determined by council using the program guidelines below has been removed and replaced with, it was decided some time ago that as long as they meet the criteria, the CAO has the authority to approve this, and it doesn't have to go to council. Item number 2, criteria B, all construction be completed by the end of the term of agreement, or the tax credit will be forfeited and required to be returned to the town of the Pas has been removed and replaced with there is no agreement, only the application being Schedule A. Item number F, has now been added as all development must conform to the Town of the Paw zoning bylaw, with the developer obtaining the appropriate permits prior to any construction. Item G, taxes must be kept current. If the property goes into arrears, the tax incentive becomes null and void. Item number 3, all of A has been removed and is replaced with single-family residential, increase in assessment of $100,000 or more. The incentive is year 1, 75% of municipal taxes. Year 2 is 50% of municipal taxes. Item B has been removed completely and replaced with commercial and industrial, increase in assessment, $100,000 to $249,999. Year 1 is 75% of municipal taxes. Year 2 is 50% of municipal taxes. Of $250,000 or more, year 1 is 75%, year 2 is 75%, years 3, 4, and 5 are 50% each. Items number C and D and the example has been removed and replaced with multi-residential, increase in assessment, $100,000 to $499,999. The incentive is year 1, 75% of municipal taxes. Year 2 is 50% of municipal taxes. $500,000 or more. Years 1 and 2, 75% each. Years 3, 4, and 5, 50% each. Item number 4, approval process in A. After the words submit the attached are added development tax incentive application form. The words application form to the designated officer has been removed and replaced with chief administrative officer. The last line, the last sentence in that paragraph, if the application is proven to be accurate, the developer will be granted the tax incentive request, has been removed. Item number B, where it says issued will be charged to the property's tax, has been removed and is replaced with will not be issued. Item number C, first line, sixth word in applied has been removed and replaced with issued to the developer. The third line down, second word provincial has been removed to Manitoba. And after assessment branch are the words and the property taxes are paid. Item number 6, any previous agreements made under bylaw number 4407, 4457, the word and has been removed. 4480 and now 4507 will remain in effect until the agreements is removed and replaced with terms of the application are expired. Certified that the bylaw number 4507 is replaced with 4560. Those are the changes that have been made.
One small correction.
Sure.
In section number 2, where your first reading where it said that the development incentive be provided through a tax credit determined by council using the program guidelines below is stroked out. The red line after that it's just been removed. That section 2 doesn't exist. So that's just a commentary from Randy. That's not a replacement text.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
My apologies. That is. So are you right here?
Section G in that or something?
No. Item number 2.
So number 2 is removed entirely, and the red type is just Randy's comment as to why it was removed, which is that if it meets the criteria, it meets the criteria. It doesn't come to council for approval.
The item G that you're talking about is here.
Yeah.
Okay. Taxes must be kept current. If the property goes into arrears, the tax incentive becomes null and void.
And it was repeated, it's right here too.
Yeah.
It was a repeat, which is fixed in this
Oh,
bylaw.
right,
Repeat
yeah,
is
that's
no
why there's
longer
no,
there.
in the bylaw that I'm looking at, there's no G, but that must have been the repeat.
Okay, that's why. It's a
Okay. that threw me off.
Any further questions on this?
No further question.
Excellent. Okay, so, okay, this is second reading then. Any other debate? Okay, call the question. All in favor? Good. Okay, third reading.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Forward, resolved that bylaw number 4560, being a bylaw of the Town of the Paw to establish a tax incentive and to repeal bylaw number 4507, be read a third time and be passed.
Any other discussion? This is a recorded vote. Councillor Commodore?
Yes.
Councillor Forward?
You know, I did have a comment. I'm in favor, but I just wanted to say,
Sure.
with respect to the question that was asked about whether or not we expect this to be the last iteration of this, I mean, it's been my experience with these development incentives or tax incentives that they are a bit of a dynamic situation. At a present time, you're trying to address a present need in the community. The bylaw reflects what we think will adequately bolster or encourage the development of whatever that is needed to fill that gap. 3 years later, 4 years later, that gap may no longer exist, or there may not be desire to see or encouragement from a a development standpoint that meets that need, and so we revise the bylaw as appropriate based on what we think is the area that has need. So from my standpoint, I don't have a problem with revisions to these kinds of bylaws as long as they're based in that kind of thinking, that it's being revised to address a specific need of the community.
It is a fluid item for sure.
Yeah, so on that
Councillor
basis,
Ford.
I'm in support.
Okay. Councillor Gibb has abstained. Councillor Morris is absent. Councillor Rock.
Yes.
Councillor Zelinski.
Aye.
I am in favor as well.
Councillor Gibb is absent, not abstained.
No,
Abstained
Councillor
means-
Morris is absent?
Yeah.
Councillor Gibb is abstained.
No, he's absent.
'Cause he
He's not
declared.
here. Abstain means he's in the room.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you.
And if he abstained, then he's not supposed to be present if he actually has conflict somewhere, so.
gotcha. Bylaws passed. Okay, we can bring Councillor Gibb back, please.
He's coming.
All right. 7.3.1, 2017 Municipal Official Seminar and MTCML Trade Show.
Resolved that council approve one member of council to attend the 2017 Municipal Official Seminar and MTCML Trade Show in Winnipeg, Manitoba in April 2017. We haven't decided who is going.
So we haven't been able to
One
identify who
person
that
is going.
person is at this point, and that's why we're just saying that we will authorize one person to go. We just don't know for sure what that person is. Is there any other discussion on this? Councillor Gibb?
Can we send a staff person? Like, would it be valuable for that trade show?
It's more for an elected official than it is
It's
for a
not-
staff
The
person.
MPCML, no?
It's a, I don't think people
I've
go
been
for
to a
that.
number of them, and
The seminar is good, but the trade show is, well, it has the same people for decades now. Any other discussion on this? Question, all in favor? Opposed, if any? It's carried. 7.3.2, review of policy and procedures, Councillor Colbert.
Moved by myself, moved by Councillor Commodore, whereas administration has reviewed the policy and procedures manual and a number of policy and procedures are covered within the collective agreement or a bylaw or are duplicated or are no longer required. Therefore, be it resolved that council authorize the following list of policies and procedures to be repealed as was identified in the February 27th Committee of the Whole minutes. There's a list of 17 policies and procedures here. I'm not going to read them all. They're documented in the Committee of the Whole minutes, they're documented in this resolution, and people can view them there if they so desire.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Okay. Uh, 7.3.3, the Powell Regional Library.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Commodore, whereas the Paw Regional Library receives a grant from the Town of the Paw for operations, and whereas the Town of the Paw 2017 financial plan has not yet been approved, therefore be it resolved that council authorize an advance in the amount of $40,000 to the Paw Regional Library, being a portion of the 2017 grant in order to pay invoices that are currently due.
This is not an uncommon occurrence. This happens on an annual basis. Is there any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Okay. Okay. 7.3.4, policy on day of mourning.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Commodore, whereas April 28th of each year, April 28th of each year is a day set aside to remember those who have been killed or seriously injured in the workplace and is known as the Day of Mourning. And whereas each year the Town of the Paw closes all town facilities from 11:30 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. in observance of the Day of Mourning, therefore be it resolved the Council adopt policy and procedure SR-940 Day of Mourning. And the policy simply identifies that which the resolution speaks to.
Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Okay. 7.3.5, payroll and accounts.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Rock. Be it resolved that council authorize the following accounts. Pay period number 4 in the amount of $115,103.20. Town of the Paw check numbers 18394 to 18452 in the amount of $201,316.85. And electronic funds transfer in the amount of $101,752.32.
Any discussion? Questions, queries? Call the question, all in favor? That's carried. 7.3.6.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Rock. Be it resolved that council authorize the purchase of 5 sets of turnout gear for the fire department with the monies to be expended from the Fire Equipment Reserve Fund, which has a current balance of $167,962.
Any discussion on this? Call the question, all in favor? All right, 7.6.1, Manitoba Hydro Lease.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Rock. Be it resolved that council authorize the mayor and the assistant CAO to sign a lease agreement with Manitoba Hydro for the lease of office space in the airport service building to expire April 30th, 2018.
Any discussion? This is sizable. Call the question, in favor? Okay. Just be a moment, folks. Okay, 7.7, minutes from the, we've got those minutes from the board meeting. People have read them, I'm sure. All right, committee reports. Museum Board, Councillor Roth.
We meet tomorrow evening.
Okay, Chamber of Commerce, Councillor Commodore.
I didn't make the last meeting as reported last one, and you have to go to this one.
Sustainable Forest, Councillor Rock.
They did have a meeting on March the 2nd. It was the first meeting since the new company's taken over. There was quite a good turnout. 20 people showed up, and one of those included the AIAC representative, Will Riedel,
yeah.
He was there, and it was a very good meeting, very productive. There was a lot of additional experience around the table because of the people that came out had been involved in it before, so it was a very positive thing. Things they dealt with were the 2-year plan they're working on with regard to wood cutting areas and that sort of thing. But we're looking forward to more positive meetings in the future. We also got a very interesting demonstration of the use of drone technology and camera and infrared stuff for viewing and measuring items in terms of volume or checking out forest areas they have to study or survey. So it was quite interesting for the members.
Good. Excellent. Citizens on patrol. Councillor Commodore.
Our meeting was canceled due to the snowstorm, and it's tomorrow night, which I probably won't be able to go to.
CDC, Councillor Gibb.
No meeting.
Recycling Board, Councillor Zelinski.
Meetings this Wednesday.
Library Board, Councillor Forward.
Meeting is tomorrow night.
Joint Committee of Council, no meeting. I don't believe there was a meeting. I shouldn't speak for you.
No, we have no meeting. I contacted Amber last week, and she's going to make a follow-up phone call in regards to the letters that she sent out.
Okay.
So, and she hasn't got back to me, but I haven't worked today, so.
Okay, Kelsey School Division Committee, there was no meeting. Citizens period. Can I ask for a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.